Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. One minute you're on top of the world, convinced you have it all figured out, and the next, your entire reality shatters. My name is Brandon, and this is the story of how the life I built with my wife Zoe crumbled before my very eyes. We met in college. It was one of those classic movie moments. I saw her across a crowded lecture hall, her laugh echoing even over the professor's drone. She was radiant, full of life, and I knew right then and there I had to talk to her. Our first date was a disaster. I spilled coffee all over my shirt, but she just laughed it off, and that's when I fell for her. We were inseparable after that. We shared everything, our dreams, our fears, our late-night study sessions fueled by cheap pizza. After graduation, I proposed. It felt like the most natural thing in the world. Our wedding was perfect. We were surrounded by everyone we loved, and as I watched Zoe walk down the aisle, I felt like the luckiest man alive. The first few years of our marriage were bliss. We bought a small house in the suburbs, adopted a goofy golden retriever we named Buddy, and settled into a comfortable routine. I worked as an architect, a job I loved, and Zoe was a freelance graphic designer. We were a team, supporting each other's passions and building a future together. I thought our foundation was unshakable. I thought we were forever. The cracks started small, almost unnoticeable. It began with her phone. Zoe, who used to leave her phone lying around without a care, suddenly guarded it like a secret agent. It was always face down on the table, or she'd quickly angle it away if I walked into the room. When I asked her about it, she'd just say it was for work, that she was dealing with demanding clients, and didn't want to be disturbed. It seemed plausible, so I let it go. I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? Then came the late nights. Work dinners, she'd say, networking events. At first, I didn't think much of it. Her field was competitive, but they became more and more frequent. She'd come home smelling of a perfume I didn't recognize and a little too much wine. She was distant, emotionally unavailable. Our conversations, which used to flow for hours, became short and strained. When I tried to talk to her about it, she'd accuse me of being needy or insecure. "Can't you just be happy for my success, Brandon?" she'd snap. It felt like I was walking on eggshells in my own home. The loneliness was crushing. I'd make her favorite dinner only for her to text at the last minute saying she was stuck at the office. The other side of our bed grew cold. I started spending more time with Buddy, our dog, just for the companionship. He seemed to sense my sadness, often resting his head on my lap as I sat alone on the couch, staring at the door and waiting for a wife who felt more like a stranger. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting, that this was just a rough patch every marriage goes through. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted, and it was growing into a thorny, painful vine. The breaking point came on a rainy Tuesday. It was our anniversary. I'd planned a special evening. I left work early, bought a bouquet of her favorite lilies, and cooked a gourmet meal. I even found that expensive bottle of champagne we'd been saving. I sent her a text in the afternoon. "Can't wait to celebrate with you tonight. Have a surprise." Her reply came hours later. "So sorry. Be a huge deadline just got moved up. I'll be super late, rain check." My heart sank. Another excuse. Another night alone. Something inside me just snapped. I couldn't do it anymore. The doubt was eating me alive. With trembling hands, I did something I never thought I'd do. Our shared tablet was on the coffee table. Her messages were synced to it. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I'd open it, see nothing, and feel ashamed for my lack of trust. Then I could apologize, and we could move past this. I opened her messages, and my world ended. There it was, a thread of messages with a name I didn't recognize. Alex. The conversation stretched back for months. It started innocently enough, but it quickly escalated. There were "I miss yous." There were pictures. There were plans for secret meets, described in graphic detail. They had nicknames for each other. I called her Z. The messages from that very day were the worst. "Can't wait to see you tonight," Alex had written. "Forget Brandon. Let's have our own celebration." Zoe's reply, counting down the minutes. "I'll tell him I have to work. He believes anything." I felt the air leave my lungs. I couldn't breathe. It was a physical pain, a punch to the gut that knocked all the wind out of me. I scrolled and scrolled, each message a fresh stab in the heart. The work dinners, the networking events, it was all him. The late nights, the perfume, the distance. It all made a horrifying kind of sense now. The woman I loved, the woman I had built my life with, was living a double life. Our entire marriage, our home, our futurette, was all a lie. I looked at the lilies on the table, now a mocking reminder of my foolishness. The champagne felt like poison. I sat there in the dark for what felt like hours, the tablet screen glowing with the evidence of my broken life. Buddy whimpered and nudged my hand, but I couldn't even bring myself to pet him. I was numb. When I finally heard her key in the lock, my heart started pounding in my chest. She walked in, feigning exhaustion. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. The day was just brutal." She came to kiss me, but I recoiled as if she were on fire. The look on her face changed from feigned sympathy to confusion, and then to panic when she saw the tablet in my hand, still open to her messages. The color drained from her face. There was no need for words. She knew. I knew. I just looked at her, the woman I once adored, and all I could see was a stranger. "How could you?" I whispered, my voice cracking. It was the only thing I could manage to say. Her excuses started pouring out. It didn't mean anything. She was confused. She was unhappy. It was just a mistake. But the words were meaningless noise. The trust, the very bedrock of our relationship, had been pulverized. There was nothing left to salvage. That night, she packed a bag and left. The silence she left behind was deafening. The house, our home, suddenly felt vast and empty, haunted by memories that were now tainted. The days that followed were a blur of grief and anger. Every corner of the house held a memory of her, a ghost of the love I thought we shared. It's a pain I wouldn't wish on anyone. It's not just the betrayal. It's the complete destruction of your reality. You question everything, not just about your partner, but about yourself. Was I not enough? What did I do wrong? But with time, and a lot of support from friends and family, I started to realize this wasn't my fault. Her choices were her own. It's been a long road, and the healing is far from over. Some days are still hard, but I'm rebuilding. I'm rediscovering who Brandon is without Zoe. I'm focusing on my work, spending time with people who genuinely care, and giving Buddy all the belly rubs he deserves. The pain of betrayal is a profound wound, but it doesn't have to be a life sentence. This can be a catalyst for finding your own strength, for learning to stand on your own 2 feet again. This wasn't the life I planned, but I'm determined to make it a good one. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone, and you will get through this.